Get ready, Staten Island. It's time to celebrate 5 years of Ferry Hawks baseball.
Tuesday, May 19th at 10:30 a.m., it's morning baseball. Wednesday, May 20th at 6:30 p.m., have a pawsome time at Bark in the Park. Thursday, May 21st at 6:30, it's Pride Night with $5 Bud or Bud Light draft beer. Individual game tickets start at just $12.
Visit ferryhawks.com now to lock in your seats.
So as I mentioned earlier, I had the fortunate opportunity, a huge honor, to drop the ceremonial first puck at the UBS Arena before the game, before Tel Aviv and Jerusalem yesterday, something that the Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman did last year. Bruce, as I said, I saw him again yesterday, him and Mazi Phillip. Long Island well represented out there at the UBS Arena. Bruce looked great, but of course, not a great day for a lot of Long Islanders yesterday. If you look at the stands yesterday, they were about half full. Thousands of people that expected to come to UBS on Sunday to go to the game couldn't make it in because of the Long Island Railroad strike. Now it's a Monday morning, even worse. 300,000 people trying to get to work in New York City. They got no way in. So there was Bruce talking over the weekend, of course, running for governor against the wretched, evil witch that is Kathy Hochul, talking about what a terrible job she's done. He's exactly right, and we are honored this morning to have him on the biggest story in the city today. The Long Island Railroad is on strike. I don't know why. And here's my friend Bruce Blakeman. Bruce, good Monday morning, buddy. How are you?
Good morning, Sid. Doing well, thank you.
I'm glad you are. You talked about it over the weekend, this strike that Kathy Hochul has allowed to happen. She's blaming you. She's blaming President Trump. She'll probably blame me. Any Republicans gets blamed for this mess. Why is Long Island Railroad even on strike?
Well, first of all, the MTA is part of state government, not county government. So Kathy Hochul is in control of the MTA. This is a failure of leadership by Kathy Hochul. These negotiations have been going on for months, and I'm told she hasn't taken part in any of the negotiations. Union leaders have told me that she's been distant, that she's been aloof, that she hasn't paid attention to it. And, you know, I don't blame the union leaders when they say to me, look, she's saying she doesn't have the money for our workers, but she gave out $8 billion over the last 3 years to illegal migrants who aren't New Yorkers. They're not even Americans. They've been here for 15 minutes. And they get all the money, and she's not giving it to New Yorkers. So that's why they're on strike, is because they're saying, hey, look, if you can't pay us a little more, why are you paying all the money to people who aren't New Yorkers? It's not right. And they have a good argument there. I feel that, you know, the workers, they want to go back to work. But again, Kathy Hochul has been AOL.
Can you explain to me, again, this is the Nassau County Executive. He'll be our next governor here, Bruce Blakeman. She's blaming Trump. I'm trying to figure out, I guess, in terms of the mediation process, how does President Trump get blamed for this obvious Kathy Hochul New York blunder?
Well, I don't know how she can do it. I think she probably would blame him for the bubonic plague if she thought she could get away with it. But he has nothing to do with the negotiations with the union. There are federal panels that make recommendations. They made recommendations to Kathy Hochul, and she didn't follow those recommendations. So if anything, she's the one that's not following the recommendations of a Federal Railroad panel. She is somebody who is completely out of touch, and that's why we're at this point right now. I really feel bad for the commuters. I feel bad for the small business people who are going to lose business today. I've already heard from people over the weekend that have been stuck at the airport, couldn't get a railroad ride home. This is going to be tough, and it's all because of Kathy Hochul.
It really is. And as far as I know, Bruce, you know better than me, I've been told that they're not miles apart. I mean, it's not like there's no way they can do this. I've been told that it's actually very close what the two sides want. So why would you put New Yorkers through this pain if it really is that close?
Well, again, she had $5.5 billion for Zoran Mondami to close his budget gap without any controls, without any strings attached to it. I mean, New York City, they don't have a revenue problem. They have a spending problem. So does New York State. And, again, when you give $8 billion away to legal migrants, it's hard for union leaders to go back to their members and say, well, the state doesn't have the money. The members say, hey, if they don't have the money, it's because they gave it away to illegal migrants. That's not right, and they've got a good argument there.
Yeah, illegal migrants, like you said, and $8 billion she found for Zoran Mamdani last week, $4 billion a year for the next 2 years. I was talking to Brian Kilmeade, our mutual friend over at Fox News. He's on my show every day here, as you know, Bruce, and he said this may be a great opportunity for Bruce Blakeman. He also loves you. He lives in Nassau County. He said, Sid, first time in 30 years. I'm not going to be able to get home later this afternoon. He said maybe this is a good opportunity for Bruce Blakeman to actually mediate this. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, if I were governor, there would be no strike because I would have been negotiating all along. I would have gotten actively involved, and they wouldn't be able to make the argument about me about the illegal migrants because I would never make this a sanctuary state. I would never allow billions of dollars to be spent on people that weren't New Yorkers. That's our taxpayer dollars that are being spent on people. All they have to do is arrive. They get free housing, free food, free transportation, a free cell phone. That wouldn't happen with Bruce Blakeman as governor. I would spend the money on the people. I would cut taxes, cut your utility costs in half, and create jobs in economic development, better jobs for people with higher wages and better benefits.
I mean, you look at the last couple of weeks, Bruce, and you've been gaining on her quite a bit the last couple of months. You know, you started out nearly 30 points behind. Now a lot of the polls that actually count, right, not these bullcrap liberal polls, have you single digits back. And you look at, again, a couple of days ago, her giving all that money to Mamdani. New Yorkers don't like that. The Long Island Railroad on strike. New Yorkers don't like that. Her constant bitching about President Trump, who has nothing to do. I mean, you got to think that the last couple of weeks have been great weeks for you, yes?
Well, we have a lot of momentum, Sid, with the utility cost 70% higher than the national average, and she's directly responsible for that. With economic development number 41 out of 50 states, which is a national embarrassment for the former Great Empire State, with the highest tax state in the United States, people are miserable. And now they're miserable about the safety and security. Throw on top of that the strike. Throw on top of that the corrections officers strike. Throw on top of that the nurses strike. She's not in control of government, and government is now out of control. They're spending money at crazy levels. People have had enough.
Bruce, I thought you said a really smart thing over the weekend, too, right? I mean, another thing that she did to this city, which she boasted about for a while, but now everyone knows it's not working. Everyone. That's congestion pricing. You said, hey, Kathy, sweetheart, if you're already screwing New Yorkers that can't get to work, if they have to drive in now, you would have a lot of balls to charge them $9+ for congestion pricing. The least you can do is suspend that tax, that punitive charge, until you fix the strike. I thought that was brilliant. I don't think she'll do it, but I thought that was a great idea, Bruce.
Well, that's the least she could do because now, not only do people have to get up 2 hours earlier to drive into the city, but they have to pay that $9 to drive downtown, and she has the ability to waive that. And she should, because it's, you talk about this state being affordable. This is the most unaffordable state in the United States. And Kathy Hochul has made it that way with taxes, congestion pricing, all these add-on fees, the green energy scam. So the least she could do is waive it during the strike, but she won't do that. And she won't do it because she doesn't want to do it. She doesn't want to help out common middle-class New Yorkers who have to get to work.
So is there going to be a meeting today, Bruce, with maybe you and Ed Romaine out of Suffolk County, somebody to figure out some contingency plans to try to help your constituents trying to get to work in New York City today?
Well, we're doing the best we can. So we're adding on additional buses for our routes. We're opening up our parking lots at all of our parks for carpooling. But there's not much we can do because, again, the railroad is something that over 300,000 commuters depend on daily, and we need that railroad open. Kathy Hochul should have been bargaining all weekend. I don't know what she was doing all weekend, but she should have been at the bargaining table negotiating with the union, and she should have tried to strike a deal.
Last one, Bruce. Again, I mentioned at the top of this conversation, I saw you yesterday at the UBS Arena, you and Mazi Phillip, and as always, you're gracious and beautiful, and people love you. They're going nuts in the arena, and you did a nice press conference, and you were signing autographs. It really is a great event. I didn't go last year. Yesterday was the first time I've been to this second annual Tel Aviv-Jerusalem game, and it was right there in your county, UBS Arena. That was a good time yesterday, yes?
It was a great time. People were having a lot of fun. It was a good athletic competition, and there was a spirit of good feelings towards the state of Israel, America's number one ally now. So, it was a great feeling for everybody. It was a good athletic competition, too.
Really was. It was a pretty good game. One more on Israel. So, in all likelihood, our mutual friend who you were with for like 90 minutes less than 2 weeks ago in the Oval Office, the great President Donald J. Trump, it looks like we're getting ready to restart this thing. Iran is not responding. I know you're not surprised. Either am I. Either is Trump. So most people predict Wednesday or Thursday we're going back in. And what that means is it could be a long couple of weeks again for the people in Israel. Any thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, the president, he doesn't want to put our soldiers in harm's way. He wants to do everything possible to try and not have the soldiers go in and fight again. But he's left with no choice. We can't let Iran get a nuclear weapon. That would be a danger to everybody in the world, but especially here in New York. We saw what they did on 9/11. They're perfectly willing to sacrifice their own lives to kill 3,000 New Yorkers. They would do it for 3 million New Yorkers and think nothing about it. The leaders of Iran could kill 3 million Americans and go to bed and not miss a wink of sleep. They have no conscience. They're evil, and they would do that, and they cannot have a nuclear weapon. So I support President Trump.
And if you kill Kathy,
on that.
Me too. And when you kill Kathy Hochul, you've done a great job with this too, Bruce. You do what I do. You go up to Hochul and Mamdani. I think Mamdani needs a little bit of a history lesson. He's really a coward and a creep. He purposely put out a video this weekend about Nakba Day, which nobody in New York knows what the hell this guy's talking about, but he purposely did it on Shabbat, on the Sabbath, to really stick it to the Jews. And clearly Mamdani needs a history lesson as to what really happened in 1948 when 5 Arab nations, 5 of them attacked Israel, and Israel defended themselves and do what they always do. They kicked their asses. That's what happened in 1948. So I'm not sure what Nakba Day is, but I thought it was pretty grotesque of this mayor to come out looking for Palestinian sympathy and really rewrite history and do it on Shabbat this weekend. Your thoughts on Mamdani?
Well, he's disgraceful. He's an anti-Semite. And I got to tell you, whether you're Jewish, whether you're Christian, it doesn't matter. When I travel around New York City, there's buyer's remorse. Young people are coming up to me and telling me, this guy hasn't done a thing that he said he would do. It's more affordable now to live in New York. He offered free bus rides. He increased the fare the day after the election. So this guy is not the real deal. He's a bad guy. He's inexperienced, and he's an anti-Semite, and he's got un-American values.
Let's wrap this up where we started this. This is the Nassau County executive. He will be, folks. There's no question. He will be the next governor of New York. Why? He's the much better person. He's the much better candidate. He actually loves his city and this state, unlike, again, the wicked witch, Kathy Hochul. Bruce, give it to me, baby. Give me your message. Hochul's listening. Trust me. Give me your message to the governor on this strike right now.
Sit down, first thing this morning, make a deal. You've been giving money to illegal migrants. You can't make the argument to union leaders that you don't have the money after you did that. Spend the money on New Yorkers, end this strike.
Bruce, you're beautiful. I love you. It was great seeing you yesterday. You sound great this morning. And you're our savior. You're going to ride in like your beautiful white hair on that beautiful white horse and save our state here in New York. Bruce Blakeman, thank you so much.
You're the best, Sid. Thanks so much.
Look who's talking. There he is, the Nassau County executive and soon to be, thank God, the governor here in New York, my dear friend Bruce Blakeman. We'll take a break. 3 more hours to come. The Monday edition of Sid and Friends in the Morning.